Welcome back to the Unofficial Squarespace Entrepreneur Podcast. My name is Omari Harabin. I'm your host, the founder of Vizier Media, where we build and grow Squarespace businesses. So if you are a Squarespace website owner and you're looking to get the most out of this platform, then you're in the right place. Each week, I bring on a different guest who has built products or services for the users of this platform. So not only do you get the best of the best in terms of how to customize and optimize your site, but also how to grow your business at the same time. So without any further ado, let's get into this week's episode. First of all, I'm glad to have you on. I know that, you've got a lot going on today, and I think it would be great to even talk about it, because one of the reasons I wanted to invite you on is because I think your trajectory, your career trajectory within the Squarespace ecosystem, you really capture a lot of, I think, the essential lessons that or stages that people can potentially go through on this journey of going from a freelancer to really building an online business that serves and meets your lifestyle needs.
Mm-hmm.
So
thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I think to kick it off, if you introduce yourself, Paige, and let folks know who you are and what you do, what you're all about, I think that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So my name is Paige Brunton. I started off a few years ago as a college student with a travel blog and turned that into a very large online business these days. So I started off building my first travel blog. I had no idea how to build a website. I did not study it in school. And I was really enjoying, honestly, the redesigning my website more so than maybe even the blogging about travel. And so I decided to I wonder if people would, work with me and pay me to build them websites, because I really like doing this. And so as a side hustle in college, I had an Etsy shop and I would build websites for literally a couple $100s. And then after graduation, I coincidentally met a very charming German guy in university and moved over to Germany to be with him, and quickly realized that without speaking German, what I had studied for 6 years and gotten 2 degrees for was completely useless. And so I went and took that side hustle, my web design side hustle in Squarespace, and took it to a full-time web design business. And then I was also blogging a lot to get clients for my web design business, because again, I was in Germany and I had absolutely no option to just walk down the street and do in-person networking. So that led me to getting a lot of clients online and eventually fully booking myself and realizing okay, I've hit a ceiling of what I can really do one-on-one with people. And then I was stuck with the situation of do I become a web design agency or just raise my prices a zillion times? I mean, but there's a limit on that. And so I ended up deciding to build an online course to basically teach everything which I know about Squarespace web design, the hacks of using the platform, really design best practices and web design strategy, and also all the SEO things, of course. And so that is what I built at that point, was my course Square Secrets. That actually led to a second course as well. And so what I do mostly now is I run this online business, offering sort of my Squarespace knowledge through some online courses.
So, all right. That's a lot in a very short, no, in a very nice tight package. So I want to unpack a couple of things. First of all, I think just going straight out of college into this digital world, without any other choice, I think is commendable.
Thank you.
And it's also, I think, one of the benefits of the time that we're in now, because if I was aware of this whole online business space when I was in college and, graduation, I would have done just like what you've done and just skipped the whole corporate route altogether. Yeah. But I actually went down the corporate route. What was that?
I feel so lucky to have skipped it. I do not. I've been doing normal jobs. That is not for me.
Yeah, you definitely skipped a bullet right there. So, yeah, and then now, you're able to do what you're doing now. So I think you said one thing that I think is really key to, I guess, at least your initial success, and I'm sure now it definitely is, but blogging, you blogged a whole lot. I think it's impossible to search for anything Squarespace related without somewhere, on that first page seeing an article from you. So talk about your blogging experience and how that works, because I know I'm not an inherent blogger. I kind of blog out of necessity because I understand the need, but just talk about blogging and using that to grow your business and getting clients. I feel like it's such a simple thing, but few people really understand how to really do it successfully.
Yeah, I feel like the thing which is interesting, I wish people would realize what unbelievable things blogging will do for your business, because if they did, everyone would be doing it, I
Yeah.
swear. Like, there's no way that I could serve this many people or reach this many people without blogging, which is, I mean, like, so I don't know. In terms of what do I do for
Yeah.
blogging? So, like, I have posted 2 blog posts a week, generally on Squarespace or something related to online business or something that would interest business owners, because that's like basically who I'm talking to in my
Right.
business. And so I've been posting 2 blog posts a week for literally years
Wow.
now. And it was very challenging when I was doing like custom one-on-one web designs and then also blogging at the same
Yeah.
time. Like, believe me, I worked around the clock. There's no question about it. But what it did was it absolutely landed me on page 1 of Google for, yeah, as you say, like, people will say to me, like, every single time that I Googled something Squarespace related, Paige Brunton came up on every single page. And so I've just created more Squarespace related blog content than anyone else, I think, at this
Yeah.
point. And so
Definitely.
that has just meant that I can reach so many people. And I mean, it makes sense because people will send us emails, they have questions, and it's like, okay, instead of me spending like 20 minutes sending you this massive long email to, give you your answer, like, I'm just going to take that basic answer, put it on the blog, and then hundreds of thousands of people can see it on there. And so I think at this point, I just checked the numbers. It's been like 500,000 people we've helped build their website through our blog in the last couple of years. It's craziness. I could never do that normally. Like, I can't individually help 500,000 people, but through the blog you can. So you can reach a crazy number of people through a blog.
And then the other thing that I think is kind of key is that you had no other choice. Like, you're in Germany where, you don't speak the language. So I think for anyone who's, local to their area or whatever, you kind of rely on the internet a lot less, like, it's not, if you don't need to, it's kind of like, why do I have to do that? Right. But when you have no other choice, it creates that limitation that I think breeds the creativity that kind of allows you to grow and rise or whatever.
Yeah. Believe me, at the time I was so resentful when I was in Germany at the beginning, and I was like, I can't find clients. Everything when you Google like how to get clients is like, go meet people and like talk to local businesses. And I was like, well, that's not an option. Or like, go to conferences. I'm like, also not an option. So at the time, I was not pleased about it. But then looking back now, it turned out to be such a blessing because it forced me to do online marketing, and that's how I could make the business so big. If I, again, was just doing one-on-one, like working or finding people locally, I could really only reach so many people. So,
right. And I mean, you kind of wanted to be mobile anyway, right? Like, what do they call it? The digital nomad. You kind of, that was what you wanted, right?
Yeah. So like, I live in Germany now full time, but of course all my family and friends are back in Canada, and I just generally like to travel, which is why I started the travel blog in the first place. And so having this business, which is completely online, allows me to go anywhere at any time. And I think that's so important also for my relationship, because if I had a normal job here in Germany and had like 2 weeks vacation or something, I would spend the whole 2 weeks vacation going to visit my family. And I don't know, it's not that much time. And you also want to go other places. So generally every summer I go back to Canada for like 2 months. I still work while I'm there, and I'm just like working from anywhere. And then I often take like months when the weather really sucks to leave Germany and go somewhere like more tropical.
Wow. That's so dope to like, to have that be like your right after college career.
I realize how lucky I am. I am stoked about it. There's no question.
And now, I mean, and now you teach everything you know. So I've had the benefit of going through your courses, and first of all, like, my feedback is it's really comprehensive. Like, you really cover everything. And I mean, obviously, but with all those blog posts, but I mean, not only that, but you also get a lot of perspectives from other Squarespace business owners as well, which I find, useful, because everyone is coming from a different kind of place, and everyone's in a different scenario. And so when it comes to getting clients, that's like when people sign up for my Facebook group, probably 80% of the needs is like, hey, I'm making my website because I want to get clients, right? And I don't think there's any one piece of advice that's like, it's like, there's not one way, right? It might, a really good referral system might work for someone, or someone might have like a really great personal network that they can leverage. And I think in your course, you kind of you kind of cover the breadth of those different possibilities, but you also
Mhm.
focus on like what everyone needs to start with, which I think is a really clear picture of who those clients are that you want to reach. Could you
Yeah.
touch on that a little bit, like your
Mhm.
process for, creating that ideal client and then reaching them?
Yeah. Actually, so yeah, I'll talk about ideal clients first. I can also talk about that section of the course, sort of, which I have all these different business owners, Squarespace business owners in there talking about how they get clients. So in terms of just like any business, if you want to be a Squarespace web designer or not, or you want to, I don't know, be an architect or a yoga studio or whatever it is, it's so important to know the exact type of person who you want to be attracting to your business. Because then you understand their struggles and their pain points and their fears and all of the crazy thoughts running around their head. And then you can speak directly to that person in all of your marketing messages, your social media, your emails, your website, all the places. And so when you truly understand who it is that you're trying to serve, then you can just really serve them well and communicate that, like, I'm in your head. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. And that is just like absolute gold to making them feel like heard and understood and trust you. And so that is, I have a blog post. I have a blog post on everything. You can Google Paige Brunton, like ideal client, and there's a post which will come up to help you like define your ideal client basically and figure out who exactly that person is for your business. And then the second bit which you were mentioning, I'll mention my second course. So Square Secrets Business had absolutely zero intention of ever creating that because I didn't feel ready
Yeah.
yet to build like a course on how to be a Squarespace designer. But all of the students of my first course who had built really fabulous websites, all of their friends and family were like, whoa, that's an amazing website. Like, who built that for you? And when they said I built it myself, then all their friends and family started being like, oh, awesome. Can you build me a website? Which I tell students in my first course, Square Secrets, like, that's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
So like unintended side effect is going to be this, by the way, because it's happened so many times for students. And so from there, they were always asking me questions about like, okay, how do I work with clients? I found a couple of clients, but like, how do I find more clients in the future? How should I be pricing myself? What should I make my packages? How should I do my process? Do I need to sign a contract with clients? Like all of these things that you need to know when you want to build a web design business. And so that is in my second course, Square Secrets Business. Now, the one major issue that I thought of when I went to build it was like, okay, I blog to get clients and it works like gangbusters. There's no question. But I know not everyone wants to blog, and that's not the only way. But I was also like, I don't want to teach on topics that I haven't personally done myself,
Yeah.
really. So I asked a lot of the other people in the Squarespace web design space and was like, hey, can you come in and talk about how you get clients in your business? So we have, I think it's 8 guest experts in the like getting clients section. And these are all women who are like fully booked in their business, running 6-figure or multiple 6-figure businesses, sometimes like full agencies. They're booking out like multiple people, multiple web designers. And they all talked about their favorite strategy that is like fully booking themselves out in their business for basically finding clients. So that is that bit there.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a good part to like plug it.
Yeah.
It's like it alone is probably worth the course.
I agree. I do agree with that.
And I definitely relate to like, as much as you're an expert in what you do, there's so much more out there. And I find like being able to leverage other people's expertise is just so useful for your audience, period, whatever space you're in. Man, there's something else I wanted to touch on that you just mentioned. Yeah, so finding your ideal client, right? Where did you get who were your inspirations when you were just starting out trying to kind of figure out this online business thing? Like, were there some courses you took, some coaching? Like, what was your way of kind of
Yeah.
mastering these different areas of expertise that someone needs?
Yeah. I had no clue about anything to do with online business, obviously, because I mean, you can't study that in
Yeah.
school. And I just came out of university. But when I just first got started, it was February. Well, I started in January, running around like a chicken with my head cut off, had no idea what the heck I was doing. And then B School from Marie Forleo came out in February, and I enrolled. And I feel like that is what gave me my like initial, like, okay, this is how you build the foundation of a business. I had never even heard of an ideal client before that. So that's what really helped me out at the start was B School from Marie Forleo. So I'm definitely a big fan, fully recommend it. I'm not an affiliate, but maybe one day I will be because it's really great.
That's funny. Our past guest, Becca, she mentioned Marie Forleo's B School is kind of that like launching pad, which is
Yes.
probably a great testament to that material.
Oh, shoot. It's great content. Amazing.
Cool. Well, Paige, listen, I know you have a lot more ahead of you today, so I'm not going to hold you too long, but I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and your advice with our listeners. If there's anything else that you want to mention or plug, feel free.
Ooh, what do I want to mention to plug? Well, I want to say thank you so much for having me on. I super appreciate it. And I'm happy to chat with you for as long as you want. But yeah, I am doing webinars later on today. So that's a very exciting time. At the moment, we're in the middle of our launch of our course, Square Secrets. Each of our courses opens twice a year. And so launch time is always very exciting for us to bring in like a new class of students. So that's what we're up to now. Anything I want to plug? Yeah, I guess my 2 courses. If you ever have an interest in building a really fabulous Squarespace website, or maybe even a Squarespace web design business, then I would freaking love to have you inside the courses. They're pretty fabulous, if I do say so myself. And we've had a lot of very successful past students to prove it. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thanks again, Paige.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed today's episode, you can subscribe at sqspthemes.com/podcast, where you can also check out the show notes and access any links that were mentioned in today's episode. And be sure to tune in next week, where I'll be talking with Jared Gold of websitebytonight.com on productized consultant and how he's used poker principles as an entrepreneur. See you then.